In this short video, you're going to be introduced to function operations and composition. All I'm going to do is introduce you to the operations and the definition and just a very basic example of each, and then you'll try a couple on your own. The first operation is addition. That is going to be defined as a new function h of x created by adding two existing functions, let's call it f of x plus g of x. Now this actually could be one of the nicest or easiest ones to do, because essentially all you have to do is add like terms here. So in this example, if I'm using f of x as 5x and g of x is x plus 2, h of x would be created just by adding 5x, that's the function for f of x, plus the function for g of x, which is x plus 2. Now essentially, since I'm just adding here, I can add the like terms, 5x plus x, and that would turn into 6x. And of course 2 is the oddball term, it's left on its own, so we have h of x equal to just 6x plus 2. The next operation you might guess would be subtraction. Which is defined as the function h of x created from subtracting f of x minus the function g of x. And once again, in this case, let's use the examples where f of x is 5x and g of x is x plus 2. If we were going to subtract 5x minus the function g of x, x plus 2, it's key that we use parentheses around the g of x function so that we can remember to distribute that negative. So once we do that, we're just adding like terms again. It'll be 5x minus x minus 2. That's supposed to be a 2, which would give you 4x minus 2. That would be subtraction. Let's move on to a little bit more sophisticated operation of multiplication. So if we were to create a new function h of x by multiplication, that's just saying, okay, you have a function f of x, let's multiply it to the function g of x. So in this example, h of x would be created by doing 5x times the function x plus 2. So we're just going to multiply them together, which you guys know how to do. We would just distribute. So that would become 5x squared plus 10x, and that would be our new function. Moving on to division. So in division, the function h of x is created by the quotient of f of x over g of x. So if we take our example, all we have to do is the function f of x, 5x, and divide it by x plus 2. Now, we don't necessarily have to go ahead and do long division or anything like that. And since there are no common factors to the numerator and denominator, the factors at the top are just 5 times x, and I can't break up the factor of x plus 2. That is the factor. I can't cancel anything. So this would be our answer. It's kind of an easy problem. All we have to do is set up the fraction. The last one I'm going to show you is a composition of two functions. And this one can be a little mind-bending the first time you see it, but it's actually not that tough once you get the hang of it. We're going to let h of x be created by composing the two functions f of g of x. So what we're essentially doing is creating a new function by plugging one function into the other function. So what I like to do is I rewrite the outer function, which is f. I call that the outer function. So I'll just write that function, whatever it is, with the input box instead of an x. So essentially it's just a box. So instead of 5x, I'm going to write 5 and then a box. And then inside of that box goes the inner function. and the inner function is g of x. So inside there would be the function g of x, which is just x plus 2. So essentially what I've done, you don't have to use an input box, by the way. It could just be parentheses. So I'm going to have 5 and then parentheses x plus 2. We're plugging x plus 2 in for x in that function that was 5x. So we can simplify by distributing the 5. It becomes just 5x plus 10. And that would be really f of g of x, the composition. I would like you guys to try the following. Let's let f of x equal 2x and g of x equal to, let's do 3x minus 1. I want you to try the following. A, do f of x plus g of x, and I'm just going to use shorthand f plus g. It means add the two. For part B, let's do f minus g. For part C, try to do f times g. D, do f over g. And the last thing I want you to try, E, is try to compose the two by doing f of g of x. So we're doing f of, that's supposed to be a g of x, same as I did up there. Good luck, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.